Hey folks, here's a quick update. I want to show you how everything looks with the after the final sulfur application. Final for now. And you can see very clearly the difference between a new untreated leaf and an older, very well treated leaf. New leaf, slightly older leaf, quite older leaf. More applications of the sulfur. Doesn't seem to be bothering the plants at all. In fact, the new leaves that are coming out looking really nice. This is the latest beginner leaf right here, this big honker right there. One of the biggest leaves on the plant. And you can see it's still got a little bit of the greenish tint to it. Everything else is doing great. I did cut the rubber plants, the two that were here, in half and planted all four pieces together into one larger 14-inch, I think it's a 14-inch resin planter, and they're all just banded together with some Velcro. So the two with the root balls are supporting the two top cut pieces, and we'll see how they do. They'll sag a bit, I'm sure, and droop, but they should eventually root in and do okay. The golden crocodile has got a beautiful cluster of 5 flowers on it, right there. Since the sulfur treatment, all of the alocasias are really doing nicely. There's the moonlight, Scindapsus moonlight, the Trubly, with all of the sulfur on it as well. And you can see on the rubber plant, the coverage. That's what I wanted to get on there. Again, a good amount of coverage of sulfur, but still some leaf surface available for light gathering. Same here on the large daughter Cuprea. And this large daughter Cuprea, by the way, is after a bottom chop. I de-potted it and I cut off the bottom 3 inches of the stem to straighten it up better in the pot and get it to fit lower in the same size pot as well. And it took everything like a champ. And this was end of October. And I also up-potted the black velvet, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago. And it's now giving me a new leaf, just beginning to come out. And I did the Michelitziana as well. I separated out some of the individual plantlets from the cluster and up-potted the cluster with some brand new media to see if that maybe gives everything a boost. And I also planted that mystery alocasia. It's going to be a beginda or a mellow, I'm pretty sure, from the aeroid mix container that I had covered and closed in the factory room. So yeah, plenty of little propagations going on here in spite of the fact that we're coming into winter. Yeah, I never put much stock into that. Don't don't up-pot a root-bound plant if it's going into dormant season, blah, 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 blah. I think that's a bunch of horse hockey. And why keep a plant cramped during its resting period when you can give it roomy, a brand new roomy apartment for its resting period? I would much rather have a comfortable resting period than a cramped resting period, if I could have a preference. I'm not saying the plants do, but at least certainly not mentally. But yeah, never made sense to me. Okay, especially if you have an artificially induced photo period and your temperatures are constant and there's no real trigger to trigger your dormancy period to begin with. Yeah, these alocasias are all just chugging along. They're not really going dormant at all. The only exception possibly being the Jacqueline, but it might just be resting a little bit. We'll see what happens. These are the two sprayers right here. Real simple. You just mix up the sulfur and water, shaky, shaky, shaky. And I basically started with the small handheld sprayer, and I just basically held it up real high so it would also hit the spider plants. I hope I can't see the, yeah, here we go. And I just pressed the trigger and let it, mist out and mist down, gently falling onto the plants until they were just slightly but evenly coated across all of the leaves. And then I went in with this one because it's got a wand which lets me poke in and among behind the leaves and stuff and get really into the inner part of the plant where the stems are, and get into the crowns of the sawtooths and all that, and into all the hidden crooks and nannies, and into the areas down here. I give a little short blast right inside, right? I'm just hitting a few things up here a little bit more, especially the new foliage. I really want to get new foliage hit as soon as possible, because that's really the dinner bell for the mites and stuff. They really do prefer the new tender shoots, as it were, because they are new tender shoots. So at any rate, yeah, it's just these two sprayers, and only because this one doesn't put out as fine a mist. So this was for the top foliage, and then this was for, I also used it to blast the areas like here, right? Get all the stems and the bases of the plants, get into the center of the begindas and give a quick blast right there around all the central crown, etc., etc. So really no big deal. And then you end up with a little light ugly coating of white powder all over the leaves, and you can see it here reflected properly in the light. And it's not that bad, but look at the results I'm getting from some of the plants. I'm just I was not expecting this positive response, and I couldn't believe, and still don't, that I haven't heard as much about sulfur as I should be hearing. This should be plastered on every single plant site on the planet for one of the first remedies to try. Certainly for mites, and it does the same bang-up job on thrips, but certainly for mites. When you're in doubt, you think you might have them, or you're not sure, or you just want to make sure you don't have them, or certainly not any appreciable amount that are going to damage a plant, hit your plants up with sulfur. It's great. I can't praise it enough. So anyway, folks, yeah, that's the deal. It's no big tickle. The only thing that's really a pain in the butt, other than keeping the sprayers primed and pumped, which is always the thing with these sprayers, it's really just remembering to keep shaking it up, every 30, 40 seconds, whatever, to keep the sulfur dust properly in suspension, so that it's evenly fed up through the suction tube of the sprayer and evenly applied on the plants, and won't go about clogging things up every 2 minutes. That's it. That's the only caution I would really offer. I would also be aware that a few plants might be sensitive. I think this Capertia medallion might be a little sensitive to the whole deal, but we'll see. And I think my lens got dirty. I'm not sure, but I don't want to retake this video because this is already about the 7th take in the past hour. So with that, I'm going to just again give my wholehearted recommendation to using sulfur. You can see it doesn't look all that terrible, especially when you consider how it's benefiting you and the plant. And remember, you're also giving the plant just an overall boost in what is really an essential micronutrient, and it's an antifungal as well. Okay, folks, that's the whole sulfur story. I will ask all of you to have